A conference last week. We were chatting about it. It looks incredible.
Yeah, I'm going to be
Are you going? It looks incredible.
Yes, I put it away.
We'll take a look at it later. That.
I'd like to call the meeting for October 10th to order. Please rise as we salute the flag this evening. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, if we could have a moment of silence for those in Israel that have lost their lives.
Moment of silence. Thank you, Ms. Chisholm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I get it.
Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please. Superintendent Crowley. Before we do that, remind everyone in the audience to please silence your cell phones. We are being filmed tonight by Woburn Public Media for YouTube streaming on YouTube, Woburn Public Media. Roll call, Dr. Crowley.
Ms. Chisholm.
Here.
Ms. Cormier.
Present.
Ms. Crowley.
Present.
Mr. Lipset. Present. Mr. Morena.
Present.
Dr. Wells.
Here.
Mr. Kissel.
Thank you for that. And second item, approval of minutes for 9/26/23. We always see the minutes from Ms. McLeod. Is there any action?
9:27.
Excuse me, 9/27.
Yes.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second on the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Approval of minutes. At this time, we do have public comment. Anyone that would like to address the committee at this time, please step forward, address the committee, stating your name and address for the record. And seeing none, we'll move along. Don't see our liaison from the city council. I believe they're meeting tonight as well, so Mr. Viola will not be presented tonight. Thank you for his attendance in the past as well. First matter of business with the superintendent reports presentations. Dr. Crowley, we have a director of facilities, Mr. David Dunkley, facilities update. Dr. Crowley, if you would.
Sure. So everyone here knows Mr. Dunkley is a long-time facilities director, but just an opportunity to talk about the condition of the buildings, the work that's happened over the course of the summer, and potentially future needs. So, Mr. Dunkley.
Good evening. I hope everyone had a good summer. And just let you know, long range, the next dry weekend is Thanksgiving. It's crazy. I think you all have my memo that I sent to the superintendent on summer projects. It seems like every year our schools are used more and more and more during the summer season. We have a lot of new summer programs that the school's putting on, professional development, summer camps, youth camps. Almost every school had some type of activity this summer. The time for cleaning and projects this summer was shorter than normal due to the late summer dismissal and this much appreciated time off. During the summer, custodians deep cleaned their schools, lights, walls, furniture, floors. All unit vents and fan coil units have been cleaned, serviced, and filters replaced. Custodians at the Reeves, Joyce, Altavester, and high school completed numerous painting projects. All schools were aided with summer help to help accomplish numerous tasks. Custodians throughout dealt with more than the average in regard to relocating teachers within their schools and to other schools. Several schools had classroom furniture replaced, which had to be built and installed, and then all the old discarded was moved to the old Wyman for storage. And then we found at the end of the summer, we had to bring some of the furniture back for the additional students at the that started the school year. The other thing that the custodians did was a lot of reminders to get up on your roof, clear your roof drains and your catch basins with all the heavy rainstorms we had this past summer. Maintenance completed a whole bunch of projects. I'm not going to go down the list. If anybody has a particular question, just let me know. I'm going to highlight some of the projects that they did. We had a couple glycol leaks at the Harold Wyman in the boiler room that we had to deal with. The first one happened the day after the students got out, and a 4-inch vibration coupling let go. We lost all the glycol. It was in the boiler room, it was contained, but it took us 6 or 7 weeks to get the replacement part, and we couldn't isolate the valve, the pump, fully. The valves weren't holding, so we had limited air conditioning in the school most of the summer. And then the third day of school, after that hot start of school, we lost the vibration coupling on the other cooling pump. But we could fully isolate that pump. The valves held, so we were down and the system was back up and running within 4 hours. Those parts just came in, not a rush to get them in because we're done with cooling. We isolated and secured all the chillers last Thursday, and this morning we went around, turned on the boilers, the pumps, and everybody's ready to go if we need heat in the morning. We'll just be taking the chill out every morning until we really need the heat for the full day. Another big project that was completed was up at the high school, rooftop unit number 7. A transformer overheated and it melted all the control wires inside the unit, and it was a bundle of control wires about this big. It took Chris Kenny and Damien almost 2 weeks to trace out and replace all those wires to get the unit up and running. We're lucky we had the talent to do it in-house, and it just took time. We replaced a couple sinks in the Linscott and the nurse's office in the conference room. Doors. That was another big project at the high school. Maintenance replaced 5 sets of doors. 3 were double leaf, 2 were single leaf. We pick up the doors and the frames, we take them to the old Wyman, they all get painted with 2 coats, then they get transported to the school and they get installed. Every door has wiring in for security. A few of the doors also had electronic hardware, which is more involved with wiring through the frame, through the door, to the electric hardware, and those 5 doors were replaced. But you can see there was a whole bunch of other things that the maintenance department accomplished over the summer. Contractors, we have annual responsibility with our contractors, servicing our boilers and our hot water heaters. They inspect all the fire alarms, fire sprinkler systems. They clean out the grease traps. Fire extinguishers are inspected and tested. The kitchen exhaust hoods. Orkin sprays all the perimeter for insects. We had a contractor come in and inspect all the playgrounds, make repairs as needed. Emergency generators have been serviced, and during the summer we do a minor service, and then at Christmas time we do a major service, so the generators will be up and running through the winter. We had a bunch different contractor projects. We refinished the gym floor at the high school. Chris isn't here, Mr. Kissel's not here. We removed the old light poles from the backside of the practice field that was on his list. We've done some roof repairs at the Alta Vista, Linscott, Rumford, and Shamrock, and we accomplished that with some capital money. We also did fire sprinkler repairs and repairs to the fire alarm, and those were issues and problems that were found during the annual inspections. We installed some fencing at the Linscott, separating the playground from the parking lot. We installed some fencing to create a bigger preschool play area at the Reeves. And replaced some broken windows. I mean, there was a lot there to go through, and there's a lot more on the list. If anyone has any particular questions, I can answer. Once again,
Mr. Dunkley and his crew, outstanding opening of school and outstanding upkeep of our buildings. Questions, Ms. Cormier, please.
Thank you. This glycol leak issue at the Harold Wyman, this has come up at least once before.
It's come up a couple times. The other times that it's come up, it's actually caused a lot of damage, and it's a totally different situation than those. These were in the boiler rooms. They were 4-inch valves. They're rubber, and they have a steel ring around them, and they're for vibration. And just over time, that steel ring just wore a hole in the rubber.
Just making sure it wasn't something
No,
bad.
no.
Yeah, no red flags. Okay, thank you.
All set? Ms. Chisholm?
I had a call about coyotes at the Reeves. Kids not going out. Can
I
you talk a
haven't
little bit
heard
about?
anything about coyotes at the Reeves.
Yeah, it's
I-
handled.
Yeah,
Dr. Crowley might address that, please?
the principal let me know, actually even today,
Yeah.
there was a coyote
Another one.
sighting at the reef, so they go into shelter in place. He notifies the family, calls animal control, so
Okay.
at no point in any time were children.
Right, I figured it was under control, but just wanted to make sure that the audience also knows that we are aware of it. It's not just a hidden
Right.
secret. And the Malcolm White Playground was on the list? Is it
The
taken
Malcolm,
care of?
everything that was broken or damaged has been repaired or
Awesome.
removed.
Awesome, thank you so much. And on this, the capital, is this partial payment or halfway through the year, or is this something that, this all we're gonna get for this year?
The capital?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't talked about the capital.
No, I just,
But I
yeah,
can
want to
get
make
to
sure you
that.
highlight
Okay.
that. I was just
Yep.
wondering why. I thought we were due for a little bit more than that.
You want to just take questions on your first first sheet, Dave, and we'll go to capital next?
Okay, the last thing I want, if there's any more questions on.
Dr. Wells, for Mr. Dunkley?
Yeah, how many students did you hire this summer?
14?
Okay.
And no other questions regarding the projects. How about the other submittal, David, about capital improvements, capital update?
Dr. Wells, I do want to mention, this was the first time since COVID that I've actually had enough summer help where we actually restriped the parking lots. First time in 3 years.
Awesome.
It was needed. Before we get on to the capital, I also just want the committee to realize we have a lot of people retiring. Arthur LeBlanc has already retired from the Shamrock. Bob Galanti has retired from the Kennedy. Paul Strauss is retiring next month. Mark Visco is retiring at the end of November, and John Dixon in the first part of the year. And 4 of these are senior positions, so we have a lot of shuffling around, and we have new seniors moving up.
I wish those people well in their retirement. Next up, Dave, capital?
Capital, the mayor gave us $350,000 for facilities, and what we're planning to do is we're planning to upgrade the camera systems at the Shamrock and Goodyear. Right now, they are old, original analog systems. You can barely see what's happening. We're going to replace them, the cameras in the server with IP. We're going to be installing a rear projector and screen at the Reeves on the stage that will face out to the cafeteria side. Replacing a 2005 utility truck. That truck is rotted. It will not pass inspection in November, next month. We've done some roof repairs at the Alta Vista, Linscott, Rumford, and the Shamrock, and those have been completed. We're still waiting to get the contractor out to go through the high school. And then we're going to be doing some parking lot repairs district-wide, and a portion of that is to grind the backside of the high school access road and repave that. And we're looking to upgrade the building maintenance software and server at the high school and replace 2 failed Jaces. Right now, Damien has to go up on the roof every morning, physically turn the equipment on, and then in the afternoon, physically turn it off.
So that's what the
And that's
Jason
going
is.
to eat up
Yeah.
about the 350.
Any questions for Mr. Dunkley regarding his capital update this evening? Ms. Crowley?
Did you?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Could you elaborate a little bit on the roof repairs? Because 36,000 seems,
That's,
you know.
That's
what were
5
the roof
schools.
repairs?
that's going to 5 schools. I brought in a roofing consultant, and I had him inspect the roofs,
Yeah.
and then he wrote up the repair order, and I got pricing on it.
Oh, okay. No, it just seems like would be more expensive than 36,000. I'm curious. Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
I know
and
nothing about it.
Ms. Chisholm?
I just, the 350 that we got, weren't we supposed to get like more than that? Or is some of it going to be technology?
Some went to IT.
Okay.
250, I think, went to IT.
All set, Ms. Chisholm?
Yep.
Okay, Dr. Wells?
And could we follow, like, what happened with the money that was put into our account that was supposed to be for capital? Did that come back for capital? Remember, we talked about it at the beginning of the school year?
Yes, it's actually on a purchase for a truck that is on order.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's not part of the three?
It's
No,
not part
that's-
of that.
That's old capital.
Okay,
I want to make sure we spend all our cash.
okay. So
Capital
you're spending the
spent.
old capital,
Yeah.
now this is the new capital.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else for Mr. Dunkley before we let him go? Thank you very much, Dave.
All right,
Appreciate your
thank
time
you.
this
Everyone
evening.
have a good night.
Thank you to crew, too, for doing a good job
Thank you. I'll
each
pass
and
that
every
on.
day.
Thank you, Dave.
Next item, early childhood update. We have a handout from our coordinator, Lisa Murphy, and we'll have an introduction from Dr. Crowley.
So Miss Murphy is, come on, she's not new to Woburn, new to this role, so an opportunity for her to kind of talk about the great things that are happening in the early childhood program.
Hi, welcome. Good evening. Thank you for having me. As Dr. Crowley said, I'm Lisa Murphy. I'm the Early Childhood Coordinator and excited to be in this role. So I'm just here to kind of give you a little overview about what's happening in our preschool program. We have 2 locations, as you know. Dr. Crowley, you want there we go. Perfect. The first one is at the Shamrock Elementary School. Here we have 4 classrooms. 2 are our RISE sub-separate classrooms, and 2 are our integrated RISE classrooms. All 4 classrooms run from 8:30 to 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday. What's great about our integrated RISE classrooms that in the morning from 8:30 to 11, there's paying neighborhood peers there, and at 11 o'clock they get dismissed, and then from 11 till 1. Children who are on IEPs get to stay and work even in a smaller group to do some more review and preview with their staff members. So that's very exciting. It's a nice kind of way to get some typical paying peers, even some of our at-risk peers that you guys were graciously to provide us this year. So it's a nice way to have them role model. And also some of our sub-separate classrooms actually get integrated also in the morning with those peers also, and then kind of go visit when they're ready to be there. And our other location is our larger location, which is at the Reeves Elementary School. There I have 2 sub-separate classrooms. 2 run from 8:30 to 1 o'clock. One is another one of our RISE sub-separate, and our other one is part of our PAL sub-separate program. And these programs do start in preschool and go all the way up through the high school, so it's a great way to get our little guys in and get them the services and needs that we have. The rest of the building is housed with our 6 integrated preschool classrooms, which was exciting this year. We got to open a brand new classroom because we had a lot of pickups this year from last year. So we were excited to open up a brand new classroom. Those classrooms go 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. There's 2 sessions, 8:30 to 11 or 11:50 to 2:20. Some of the other services that we can offer in both buildings, some of them come in just for speech services, so they could come in once a week. Some of them also can get driven in for occupational therapy and some physical therapy. So all of those are services that can be offered at either building depending on the therapist that they're providing and the student and their kind of the classroom schedule. Number of enrollments, we are growing as just exploding, which is very exciting. Right now, we have 176 total students in our program. 95 are on our special education students. 25 of those students are in our sub-separate, and 81 are neighborhood peers. We're glad to say all 15 spots that you guys gave us for at-risk are filled, and we do currently have a waiting list for other families who are interested in those spots. So if someone happens, we did unfortunately have a family that did had to drop out for the at-risk spot, so we were able just to add in a family just last week, which we were very excited to offer that. So I truly thank you for your graciousness. That 15 really helped help that. Right now, we do still have 25 peer spots left currently for this year. So we're still looking for some neighborhood peers that can come and be enrolled as long as they turn 3 by August 31st. So we're still enrolling them. You can contact Brenda Farron or myself, and we'd be glad to get you going. Right now, I have 20 spots in my integrated program, 6 left in the RISE sub-separate, and 2 left in the PAL sub-separate. So as you know, preschool is ever enrolling and ever moving. As soon as someone turns 3 and it's early intervention, we do eval them and we take over. So we're excited about that. Last year, we qualified about 35 little preschoolers. The year before was 30. So their numbers are growing. We're getting really big, and it's exciting. We're meeting a lot of needs for these little ones in Woburn and helping them be successful till they get to next year. Some exciting things that are happening, as you saw all these little pictures. Oh, I'll talk about this, our specialists. Sorry, Matt. That's my fault. I was so excited to talk about the last slide of all the special things that happened. But we do have our own dedicated team chair, which is Melanie Johnson McShane, which was exciting. She replaced me because that's what I was doing last year. We do currently have 3 speech pathologists that are full-time, 1 occupational therapist, and those are just all dedicated to our ECP family. Building-based, we have a BCBA in both buildings, in the Shamrock and the Reeves. And then the school psychologist and the physical therapist are also building-based, but they all work with us. We have weekly consults with all of those people. We're always in connection. We're always talking about how we can support our preschooler friends, even our paying peers. We talk about them too and what they might need and how they can be successful in our program. So we have a lot of support and a lot of services for our little ones of Woburn. And finally, some exciting things that are happening. All these little pictures that you have seen is we have had an in-house field trip, which is called Barnyard Babies. It was a big success. Last week was our first visit. We had a great day. We were outside in the new fenced area that Dave purchased for us, which was very exciting. So all of these little pictures of all the kids enjoying themselves. If you're around Friday at the Reeves, we will be there again from 10:30 to 12:30, so feel free to stop by if you have that notion to hold a bunny or see a baby goat in a diaper walking around. Dave, we got some free grass cutting last week at the Reeves. And then we'll be at the Shamrock from 9 to 10:30, and every single one of our classrooms are going out there and being included. They're getting to touch the animals and hold the animal if they're comfortable. It's the faces on them have just been it's been amazing. They are just so excited about them. And then if they're not comfortable, they just stand off to the side. And we have lots of adult support, so it's been great. 2 of our teachers are piloting the Playful Learning Institute, which is from Boston. And those are 2 of our teachers at Reeves. And it also is happening in the building of Reeves, I believe, too. I don't know 1,000%, but Courtney's shaking her head. She might know a little bit more about it than I do, because I do know it's going pre-K to 3, I believe, is piloting this program. So they're very excited. They have gotten lots of materials from the state, like thousands and thousands of dollars have come in free because they're part of this grant, toys and books. It's so exciting, and the teachers are really super excited about it. And something new that's actually starting this week, which I'm really excited about, the art classes had extra spots. So they came to both Wayne and Matt, the principals at the building, and then they reached out to me, and they had some extra time. So they're going to do adaptive art for all of our sub-separate classrooms. So we're going to be great. We're going to really try it. I'm excited. I will tell you, art is our least favorite in those classes because of sensory needs. So we'll see how it goes, but we're going to put our best foot forward. So we're very excited to kick that off for all of our sub-separates, both at the Shamrock and the Reeves. And that will start this week. They're going to go in there and they're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. And I'm excited to see how it goes. And Reeves PTO has been really gracious. They're getting a yoga class for all of our little preschools to do too. So that's just starting in the work. So that will be developing too. So we're keeping our youngest ones busy. We're excited. We love having them. And like I said, feel free to stop by if you have that notion to see a goat kind of walking around. It was a sight to see for me. But they're really enjoying it, and we're just ever growing. Any questions or anything?
Okay, thank you very much. Early childhood program, Dr. Wells, Ms.
Yeah.
Murphy.
Yes, should we expand the number of at-risk places that we give you? Because if we have, it sounds like you have like 20 spots, I'm trying to remember.
You have 25. We have 25 peer spots, and that's to stay in compliance with the state.
Right, so it's better to have somebody than not have anybody. And I guess, and so, is there a downfall or drawback that maybe I'm not seeing that you don't want to do it, I guess?
We would love to get some more peer spots if we can. We do have a waiting list currently.
So maybe if you bring it to one of the subcommittees and then you can discuss that, because it's, I don't know all the ramifications, so I thank you for the information. You can put it to this.
Yeah, no, it's been great to get those 15 families that couldn't afford the program for our end, which is fabulous.
Okay. And then the other question is, why isn't it a 5-day program?
Really for space, honestly. If we had 5 days a week within those classrooms that we have, which are 6 integrated rooms,
Yeah.
that would need to be another 6 integrated rooms, because remember, there's 2 sessions, so there's 15 kids in each session, so
Okay.
that's another whole 6 classrooms that we would
Okay.
need. We would love a full day session. My goal kind of is hopefully next year to maybe make 1 room for integrated classrooms in 8:30 to 1, but we're just looking at
Yeah,
that
3 and 3.
possibility
Oh, okay.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, and our integrated, we use Wednesdays for our integrated classrooms to
Okay.
do evaluations and
Okay,
meetings.
that's the,
Yeah,
okay.
for all the early intervention guys.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Thank you.
All set. Ms. Crowley for Ms. Murphy.
So I am just so happy that you came to the meeting tonight, because I think early childhood education is, one of the things I feel really strongly about. And I just love hearing about our programs and hearing from you. I have to say that I personally feel that the early childhood program should be in a separate building, should be its own program, because you have so many moving parts and so many specialists dedicated to the program. So you're nodding, so you agree. Okay, good.
That would be my dream if
Yeah,
you
it's kind of
really
my
want to
dream,
know.
too.
It would be lovely to have everything.
Yeah.
Really to have the cohesiveness of everybody
Yes.
in one building, but it's it
I
would
know,
be-
you're doing a fantastic job,
Yeah.
but just having it in 2 different buildings and then having this level of need for our most youngest
youngest
learners, is definitely, I'd like to see it in its own building. And how, do you have a good relationship with early intervention? How does that work? How does the
Sure.
transition
So
work?
they notify me every time, probably about 3 months. So I get an email with them. They do an email every about 3 months prior to a child turning 3. Since COVID prior, years and years ago, you used to go to the houses and you would go and do a home visit. Now, since COVID, we do a Google Meet. So we do a Google Meet with the whole family. We talk about the different transitions. But Lisa, who is in charge of it, her and I can communicate constantly about different things that are going on. Right now, we're seeing a flux of February birthdays, so I don't know what happened 10 months ago, but we got a lot of February birthdays happening. And her and I keep joking about every time I go, another February birthday, her name's Lisa too. And she goes, yeah, right now. I go, what was happening 10 months? It must have been a snowstorm or something going on.
Right.
But yeah, so no, it's a great relationship. And even with the people who are service providers will come to our meetings and help the families, and they help the family register. So it's a great relationship with them and working together as a team.
And the team chair you have, did you say they're just dedicated to?
Yes, she is just dedicated to the early childhood program. We are very busy as team chairs.
Right.
Last year we ran over 150 meetings.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And I just want to, I guess, make a statement of appreciation that these families are new to
Yes.
the school system
Mhm.
and have young learners, and so it must be a lot of new information. So the
You
team
explain
chair,
it?
yeah, it's just
It's
a
exciting time for them, and we walk them through it.
Yes.
From the first email I give them from early intervention or just a phone call. A lot of parents call with concerns about speech, so it's just that initial phone call of just walking them through it.
Right. It's amazing. And I guess my other question is, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
The transition to kindergarten.
Yes.
How does that work?
So we meet with as our team, the whole team, the ECP team, speech pathologists, OT, PT, psychs, we meet as the whole team. We dedicate a day, and kindergarten teachers from each building will kind of pop in and out. We do a Google Meet, and then we just talk about every single kid that we have in our program, whether it's a child on IEP that's on special education, or even a paying peer. We will
Right.
let that family and that school know all the information we have and their learning styles and things they need and everything, so it's a great connection.
That is so great.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the planning and the kindergarten teachers knowing.
It does help. And then we're also, one of my team chair actually just went to a meeting the other day for our kindergarten teacher, just to kind of give them insight of what she saw. Because it's a big transition from 2.5 hours to 6 hours. That's
Yes.
a big jump for some of our
That's
little
huge.
ones.
Yeah.
So, it's great that we're still there as a resource to help some of the kids who are 180 of them that are in our just program. We're able to help in
And then,
transition.
of course, these learners being in the system earlier, if they're having really good special education services, or I guess education services, it might prevent the referral to special ed.
Hopefully, or they can,
Right.
be, come off special education with the early intervention, which is great too.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited that the Reeves PTO is doing yoga for these little kids.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I have it on my agenda tomorrow to talk to my team about.
I love everything about that. And
Yeah.
then just, providing these learners with these barnyard experiences. I'm excited.
It's an experience.
I just love it. I'm just so glad that you came tonight. So thank you, Ms.
I'm
Murphy.
glad I came. Thank you for the
All set,
opportunity.
Ms. Crowley?
Yes, I'm done.
Ms. Cormier for Ms. Murphy.
Actually, incidentally, so you mentioned that when they are coming through from early intervention, you do a Google Meet. If they don't have that, if the family doesn't have access to something to do that with, does it early intervention facilitate that?
Yes, early intervention facilitates it all. So the early intervention really facilitates all of that. They facilitate helping them register. They actually sit in the house with them, so I believe it's probably during their home visit. They sit in the house and they open up the computer. A lot of times they'll translate, or I'll get a translator for it. So EI will facilitate everything up until we take over when we start doing our consents. But they walk them right through the whole process.
And then as far as your team here, the specialists, so when you say building-based, and kind of map this out for me, so you said you have one BCBA per school.
So it would be the school BCBA. So Reeves has a BCBA. They work for the Reeves, and they also help us in the preschool. So they do everything.
And then school psychologists, one each? Or
Yep, one each in each
Okay.
building. Yep.
And same with physical therapists?
Yes.
All
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All set, Ms. Cormier?
Yes,
And
thank
Mr.
you.
Lipset, please.
Just sort of a quick follow-up to Ms. Crowley's comments regarding a unified school. Could you talk a little bit, you and your team are doing incredible work, given the space limitations and some of the pressures there. Could you talk a little bit about that and sort of what you might have the opportunity to do if we had sort of one dedicated space that you might not have the space to do now, or how
So
that
I
might work?
think the trick is the integrated piece, is the 2.5 hours. Right now, a lot of families are working, and a lot of families, when they get the 2.5 hours, they're like, I need full-time. So full-time really would be that 8:30 to 1 piece, which would be huge. We also have some children who right now are in our integrated program, but they're not a RISE profile, they're not a PALS profile, but they need a little bit more than 2.5 hours, but we just don't have the space or that piece to offer them that 8:30 to 1 piece. They just need that more time to be in a school structured environment. So it's really that piece, is that integrated piece, could be beefed up a little. We could have probably a mixture. Some could have the 2.5 hours, maybe for our little 3-year-olds, and maybe as they're getting ready to transition into kindergarten, we give them that 8:30 to 1. So really is the allotment of time. I think we'd also get more peers in if it was more of a full day program, that 8:30 to 1 piece.
And I know space is tight, especially at the Reeves. Could you what are we seeing in terms of enrollments? What do we have to look out for in terms of spacing right now?
So enrollment, I'm a little nervous. Right now I have 20 spots left open for integrated space, and I picked up about 35 kids the last 2 years. So we just opened up a brand new integrated classroom this year. So I'm a little nervous. We did move one of my sub-separates over to the Shamrock. You know, we could always do that again. I know Shamrock was able to move out Rise 2. So yeah, we're growing. We're expanding.
That will, I'm sure, be a topic of much discussion over the next year, so make sure we get that on the agenda. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Ms. Murphy?
Great
Any
job.
closing remarks from the superintendent at all?
No, I think it's great. I'm excited about the,
Maureen came and saw it Friday. It's a vision.
Go yoga.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun
Go
time.
yoga, that could be even something.
Yeah.
Don't get any ideas, Courtney. Well, thank you everyone for having me. Have a great night.
You
Thank
too
you for
now.
Coming,
Thank you.
appreciate your time this evening.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we send to the Special Services Subcommittee review of the integrated programs, preschool programs, available seating capacity, and, look to ways to make the number of peers, meet the requirements of the law.
Okay, on Dr. Motion, on the motion,
Second.
is there a second? Second by Ms. Crowley, motion by Dr. Wells. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. I take it, Gene, you got that correctly? All right, thank you for that. Next up, Superintendent Crowley's Assistant Director of Student Services, Dr. Nora Murphy, as we keep with the Murphy theme this evening. Good evening. Dr. Crowley, any introduction for her?
sure, they're not related. And so Dr. Murphy's been in the Woburn Public Schools for a few years, but in a new role, and just an opportunity for the committee and the community to put face to name, and for Dr. Murphy to kind of outline a little bit of her findings, what she's uncovered, but also what she's looking forward to. So at this time, I'll turn it to you.
So hi, nice to see everyone this evening. I'm Dr. Nora Murphy. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Services. As Dr. Crowley said, I have been in Woburn for a couple years now. I'm entering my 4th year. Actually, prior to this year, I was down in the early childhood program with Lisa. And in the Woburn public school system, prior to this year, again, I have been focused on the early childhood, but I did have a career prior to entering Woburn, and I was in the Marblehead Public School District for over a decade, where I did work at a variety of levels. I worked at the elementary school, the high school, the 18 to 22-year-old program for an administrator in special education. My degree is in clinical psychology, so I've also spent a lot of time in training in understanding learning profiles of students, completing evaluations, understanding reading needs, social emotional needs. So I spent my first month in this new role really trying to understand the buildings and the staff and getting to know our programs at a new, deeper kind of understanding. I know that Maureen Ryan over the last couple of years has spent a lot of time trying to strengthen our reading programming in district. So I look forward to continuing to partner with her in that and strengthen our special education teachers' ability to create and implement appropriate reading methodologies and reading instruction to our special education learners. I also have a lot of passion for our programs that we run, our partial inclusion and substantially separate programs. As Lisa Murphy spoke to a little bit, our RISE classrooms, our PALS classrooms, our SOAR classrooms, getting to know those in each of our buildings and those learners and trying to strengthen those programs. There's a lot of growth that can still happen there. So those are just a couple areas that I want to focus on moving forward. So.
Great, thank you very much. Dr. Murphy, any questions? Mr. Lipsett?
I notice you have a lot of experience in, with students who are in crisis, looking at crisis intervention, crisis prevention. I know this is obviously something that we're working on building up in Woburn. I wanted if you talk a little bit about your experience there and where you see us going.
Yeah, so I actually spent a lot of my clinical training working in hospital settings with adolescents, latency age kids, CBAT, ICBAC settings. So those are like hospital diversion programs. And again, understanding how to work with those families, counsel those students, understanding what assessments are available. Maureen Ryan and I have actually had recent conversations around some risk assessments and things that are possible maybe in our district that maybe we haven't accessed before, to help us truly understand what students are safe in our buildings and what students aren't safe in our buildings, and how do we kind of best approach those students and cases. So definitely some live time conversations happening, and we'll see what happens moving forward. But I would say in my prior district, I was a resource for those social emotional kids. Given my past experience, I haven't been tapped into in the same capacity here yet in Woburn, but I'm very eager for people to get to know me in that capacity because I actually love that profile of student and learner.
Great. Thank you.
All set, Andrew? Dr. Wells for Dr. Murphy.
Woburn, so you're coming from Marblehead. I don't know much about Marblehead. It's a water. But yeah, so in terms of your experiences there and seeing what happens here in Woburn, any thoughts on things that you could bring from what Marblehead's doing? Or is it just so different that it's not worth even thinking about it?
Yeah, so what's interesting is my time at Marblehead, it was long, but it actually was like, for me, I spent all of my clinical work and training actually mostly in Worcester.
Okay.
So actually, like more, my training and population matches a little bit more
Yeah,
what
that would be
Woburn
great, yeah.
has.
Yeah.
So Marblehead for me was a little bit of like an outlier to
Okay.
start. But I would say in Marblehead, our substantially separate programming, I feel like had some areas of strength that Woburn doesn't quite have yet, and our reading intervention. So kind of the two areas that I highlighted that I want to kind of work
Okay.
on is how do we bolster those? Because I think they're really important areas. Because our substantially separate and partial inclusion programs, they're very much separate from our general education curriculum and profiles and learners, so they kind of need people leading them more so. And reading, we still definitely have some growth. Maureen has done a great job of sending our in-district staff to a variety of reading programs and trainings, and they have had a lot of trainings in recent years that they haven't had before, but now the staff need kind of the next step in, okay, now that we have all this information, how do we actually apply it on the day-to-day and take what we know and really get it up and running? So it's kind of taking them to the next level there.
Okay, thank you very much. I always appreciate when we have people coming from outside the system with the fresh eyes on the system, because we learn a lot of things. Thank you very much.
All set, Dr. Wells. Anyone else for Dr. Murphy? Okay, Dr. Crowley, you want to close it out? We'll be done with this Dr. Murphy's presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks again. Appreciate
Have a
it.
good night.
Thank you.
Moving on, we're going to head up for our subcommittee reports this evening, starting with Finance Subcommittee. Dr. Wells, please.
Finance Subcommittee did not meet since the last meeting. We'll probably be meeting before the next school committee meeting.
Okay, Dr. Wells, Finance. Communications Policy Subcommittee, we do have a handout from Ms. Cormier's subcommittee, and we'll turn it over to Ms. Cormier for the Policy Subcommittee report.
Thank you. So we have not met again, but as I mentioned at the last meeting, we do have a number of policies that have been tabled and that are now due for discussion. The ones that we are looking to adopt per the MASC recommendations are in your packet, stacked here for you. And then the rest of them, there are a number of them that they cited to remove based on, whether it's something redundant or things that had been updated elsewhere. And some minor language changes. The protected classes have been updated slightly, so that was also updated in the emails that I sent out to everyone. So at this time, if anyone has any comments, questions, concerns for discussion on those that were presented for adoption.
Thank you, Ms. Cormier. For Ms. Cormier's subcommittee, Dr. Wells.
Is the school council one up for adoption? Because I noticed something in that
School
one.
councils was some other policies that were consolidated. So you're talking about BDFA?
Yes.
School councils. So that was BDFA, BDFA E1 through 2
Yeah.
and 3. They consolidated that into one policy.
Okay. And so the only thing I noticed was about the open meeting law. And I'm not sure that,
Notice what?
that it's one of the things that are changes highlighted in red.
Okay.
And I think that's something that needs to be disseminated. And, does that mean it goes, I assume it needs to go down to City Hall, all the aspects that I'm sure the principals at the different schools are not used to dealing with. So it might need some help from the administration for them.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All set, Dr. Wells, regarding the policy handouts?
Make a motion, we take them off, all the ones that were on the, sorry.
Oh,
Ms.
Ms.
Crowley,
Crowley,
you
you
have
had questions? I'm sorry.
That was my question about open meeting law,
Okay, any others?
big change.
Any others regarding any other policies?
Just
Oh,
another question.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mulren. Remind me, Colleen, service animals was looked at by council, right?
Yes, so actually,
Yes, okay.
service animals had been out there, and then
Yes.
they actually split it up into service animals and then just animals in school,
Okay, all right, I really appreciate that.
Such as goats.
such as
And goats.
And I just want to state that
miniature horses.
Colleen
We have a theme tonight.
You did a wonderful
has
job.
done such hard work in these policies, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, it's not done, so.
No, I know.
But you've still
No, but I
done it.
appreciate
Still,
that. Thank you.
you're
We
still
want to
doing it.
encourage you to continue.
And for point of reference, she's following in your father's footsteps, because that was one of
Yes,
his
that was
last acts, reviewing all the policies.
Yes, all of them.
I'll make a motion that the policies be removed from the table for action.
Second.
Motion to remove the policies as indicated. Motion by Dr. Wells, second by Mr. Lipset. Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
So we will add these to the agenda for the next meeting
Well, now we
to,
can vote on the ones that we just pulled.
I'm sorry?
You want to make a motion to
What do you want to do with the rest?
approve the ones that we pulled from the table?
Well, yeah, we can do it today. I didn't, all right. Yes, so I would like to make a motion that we adopt, and Jean, I'll send this to you so you don't have to type it all. BDFA School Councils, BDFA-E School Improvement Plan, CHA/CHC Development and Dissemination of Procedures, EFE Civil Rights Complaint Policy for Child Nutrition Programs, IGA/IGD Curriculum Development and Adoption, IMGA Service Animals in Schools, and IMG Animals in School.
I'll second.
Motion from Ms. Cormier to adopt the policies as indicated, second by Dr. Wells. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? All in favor? Motion passes. We'll indicate those accordingly. Any other action regarding the policy handout this evening from Ms. Cormier?
So I would make a motion that we remove the policies that were listed on the tabled policies list in our packet.
Motion to remove the ones that listed as to be removed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Wells. Any further discussion on the policies to be removed? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion is to remove the policies as indicated. Anything else, Ms. Cormier?
I will take the update, reaffirm policies as well to be adopted at this time.
Second.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to update and reaffirm the policies as indicated. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it for the updated and reaffirmed policies, as indicated by Ms. Cormier. Thank you very much for all of this. That's it?
That's it.
That's it? All right.
So
Thank you
under
very
our
much.
policies? Yeah. So, as I had mentioned at the last meeting, the FAQ about student representatives on the school committee, what if that could go to the policy subcommittee to make sure we're in compliance, just that we're following the rules and regulations? Because it seemed like there were specific things that the law required, and I'm not sure, that it's kind of gotten lost over time, so.
And you said that was in the MASC?
I brought
mailer?
it tonight,
Yeah,
and I sent it as a text message, I think, last week, but, yeah.
It's in this-
The administration.
The mailing.
really wanted
Yeah,
to-
and this is spelled out in MGL, so it's. worth
Right, but I want to make sure we're
Yeah.
following the law.
Yeah, no, I agree entirely, absolutely.
So, anyway, so that's just an item
It
for.
said, yeah,
Okay.
it said something about voting in June, the kids vote
Yeah,
in October
yeah.
and all
Yeah, the
that.
process in the school is different. The school committee involvement in school councils is very different, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
than past practice. So it's worth looking over.
Okay, so a reference for the policy subcommittee to look at
Yeah.
Dr. Wells' information. Anything else for policy? Moving along, we have our Curriculum and Data Trends Subcommittee. Mr. Lipset, please.
We are currently working hard to schedule a meeting. It has been a little tricky this time, but we are going to try to get one on the books for next week.
Okay, thank you very much. Coming up for that,
We have a full agenda supplied for us by Dr. Wells.
Yeah, there's one other item I wanted to add to that. Recently, there was an article in the Globe about reading programs in third grade programs and so forth, and there was discussion about whether the programs were evidence-based, so I think it would be good to have the curriculum subcommittee look at the information provided in the article and come back to the full committee with a response
Sure.
to that in case people in the public had looked at the article and concerned, to make sure that we're meeting all the needs of our students.
Happy to do so.
and those notes are duly noted by Mr.
They
Lipset.
are indeed.
Anything else for Curriculum and Data Trends Subcommittee? Moving along, Personnel Subcommittee, Ms. Chisholm.
We met this evening at 5 o'clock here at the Joyce, and attendance was Colleen, Ellen, myself, and Dr. Crowley. Just to give an update, the nurse at the Kennedy Middle School, we've had multiple applications, so that's a good thing, heading in the right direction. The hiring is moving along with this onboarding going on at the high school. But we did discuss the position of Director of Finance and Operation, and we'd like to post that position starting tomorrow. Same timeline as that we did for last year with Maureen Ryan. So we have a new job description that's going to go along with that, so that will help. And this hopefully will open us up to more candidates on the municipal side of experience at this time of the year. So there was a motion to present this to the full committee, so I would like to have a motion that we approve that position to be put on tomorrow.
Second. If you're making the motion, I'll second it.
Motion is made and second, motion made, Ms. Chisholm for the, Assistant Director, Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations, second by Dr. Wells.
Director of Finance and Operations.
Director of Finance and Operations,
Yeah.
thank you. And second by Dr. Wells, with a job description to follow and posting
Tomorrow.
as soon as tomorrow.
Yeah. And then we also talked about the payroll and benefit specialist that was in our budget last year, so we would like to post that immediately. And this will be necessary to keep the district in line and running more efficiently, and so errors are to a minimum. So I'd like to make a motion that we approve that to be done tomorrow also.
Second.
Make a motion regarding that position by Ms. Chisholm, second by Dr. Wells. Any further discussion on those matters? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Anything else personnel-wise, Ms. Chisholm?
No, we adjourned at 5:45.
Okay.
Question to person.
Question.
So the nurse leader position, or
Yeah.
the title of it?
Yeah.
So that's been posted, and so I think that has to come back for the committee to.
It does,
Okay.
yes, it will.
Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, that's personnel matter coming up at a later date. Resource and Capital Planning Subcommittee, Ms. Crowley,
We have
please.
not met, Mr. Chair.
Have not met. Student Services and Achievement,
Mr.
excuse me,
Chairman.
sorry, Dr. Wells.
Yeah.
Recognize Dr. Wells.
Yeah. What's our,
Resource.
do we have a plan yet, what we're going to do with the feasibility study?
So I'm waiting to hear back from Danisco Design
Okay.
to schedule a meeting.
Okay.
It'll be a Christmas present.
Going out with a.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you a paper
the
copy.
last
We're gonna split up, we're gonna split up each
We're
section.
going to print you a paper copy so you can.
Okay, thank you.
They've been watching the meetings. They're waiting for you to get out of here.
Yeah. They're still printing out, they started last Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so that's regarding resource and capital improvement. Student Services and Achievement, we met earlier this evening. I know Ms. Crowley wants to go over any of the notes, or Ms. Cormier, I can do my best.
I took minutes if you'd like me to.
All right, please, in my absence, we'll allow Ms. Cormier for my report this evening on Student Services and Achievement. Thank you, Ms. Cormier.
Thank you. We met tonight at 6 p.m. in the superintendent's conference room. Present were Mr. Mulrennan, myself, Ms. Crowley, and Ms. Ryan. We had an update from CPAC President Julie Cotton. They had a back-to-school night that went very well on September 27th. They have the school committee candidate forum coming up on October 17th with questions about education in general, not just special education. And if anyone from the community would like to submit questions, it is wps.cpac.gmail.com. And they are taking, there's no, I guess, deadline except, sooner rather than later to get those in. An update from Ms. Ryan about student services. The staffing continues to be an issue as it is everywhere in the state, especially with SPED staff. Critical needs include assessment center, PALS program, team chairs, and there were some para positions that were removed prior to the budget being approved last year that potentially that wouldn't have been filled because we had trouble hiring paras, but now we have been getting an excellent pool and they have been easier to fill. So Ms. Ryan was looking to add back those 5 paras so that we can fill those positions. I don't know if we need to.
Was that an additional 5 outside the budget?
So I'm happy to bring that back to a subcommittee, but I wanted just to start the conversation.
Yeah.
Very good. The GAIN program at the high school is also going remarkably well and will likely need a 3rd classroom fairly soon. Out of district costs have increased, as we know, and we have 4 new unexpected out-of-district students. Next year, increases in the out-of-district tuition will be almost 4%, so we need to prepare for that. We've had 31 new students with IEPs move in since July 1st. Our new families, the migrant families to Woburn, we haven't really unpacked the special education needs yet, but we have submitted the 344 grant, which has been earmarked for basic supplies, including adding projectors to the ML classrooms to make them more equitable. We talked about Power School. We are 1 year in, and there are some add-ons that we're going to need to explore as far as enrollment. Paras, again, have been better. The pool, and there is a handbook that was put together, an evaluation tool, and some excellent PD by Chris Murphy that will be done on the half days. We also have Lynn Lyons for an anxiety series. She's an anxiety expert. This was requested by staff. The McLean Mental Health Webinar Series for ML families will be restarting. Mental Health Matters Parent Night went very well. Melissa Orkin is going to be here focusing on Tier 3. And the I Love You Guys Foundation will have a Train the Trainer event through Burlington Police Department for responses to issues like power outages, et cetera. And the teachers, so that's for assistant principals and principals if there's no assistant principal in the building. And teachers will be trained on Election Day, November 7th. And we adjourned at 6:53 p.m.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cormier. Any questions regarding SSA subcommittee minutes or questions this evening? Once again, a lot happening there. Moving right along, we have any correspondence at this time? Anybody have anything they'd like to offer up to the committee or to the public? I know coming up this weekend, I know if Chris Kissel was here, he'd be plugging a Lions event. I can go ahead and plug the fire department open house on Saturday. Obviously, lots going on in the community. Anybody else have anything under correspondence? Future agenda items. Notify the chairperson and the
Mr.
superintendent.
Chairman, we talked about it last meeting. I thought it was going to be on this one, but it's the items for the delegate meeting, the MASC meeting. We were supposed to look at the resolutions and kind of to guide the...
To guide our delegate?
Yeah.
We all got the mailing. So.
Right, so if we could just make sure it gets on the agenda for next week.
All right. And again, just a reminder for anyone that's listening at home or remembers, we changed the meetings, so the next meeting is actually going to be Monday, October 23rd, here at the Joyce at 7 p.m. Due to scheduling conflicts, we made that change. Anybody else have any other future agenda items at this time you want to bring forward?
An update on what's happened with our library program. I don't think we've heard from them in a while.
Okay, maybe see the superintendent's making notes, such future agenda for the library update and the community. Seeing no other updates regarding...
Pardon me,
Okay.
just clarification?
Sure.
The Woburn Public Library?
No.
Woburn Public Schools Library?
Our library.
Our school program.
Because I remember at budget time, we talked about some innovations and
Yeah.
things like that. And so,
I have people who would love to come and share.
yep.
Yeah,
That'll be good.
okay.
Future
You can always
agenda.
invite the Woburn Public Library to come and listen to what we're doing, so that, but it's more about. Or Colleen can be the conveyor of information.
Yeah,
I
transparent.
can talk all day about that.
I know it,
Great
huh?
things happening, and I'm sure they'd love to share.
Yep, that's what I meant, yep.
Who's going to bring the goats? All right, future agenda items. Anything else for a note? Executive session this evening. I believe we have an executive session. Is that correct?
We do.
We do have an executive session.
Make a
Discuss-
motion to go into executive session to
Second.
discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation.
Second.
Motion to go into executive session for purposes stated, and that requires a roll call vote. Dr. Crowley.
Ms. Chisholm?
Yes.
Ms. Cormier?
Yes.
Ms. Crowley?
Yes.
Mr. Lipset?
Yes.
Mr. Mulrennan?
Yes.
Dr. Wells?
Yes.
Mr. Kissel?
Not absent, they're not present. At this time, we're going to executive session with the matters as indicated, so at this time, we'll remind cable TV, any votes that were taken will be announced following the executive session. Thank you very much. And reminder, October 23rd, next meeting Monday here at the Joyce. Thank you very much.